Well, welcome back again, YouTube family. This is the Bullock family here, and today we are going to specifically talk about our roles as mother and father. As you can see, our little one, Ava Michelle, she is currently sleeping at the moment, which is wonderful for recording purposes and filming purposes. But I can honestly say, like, being her mother has been the most warming experience ever. And the reason being is because it taught me a lot of things about myself as a woman, as far as like loving my daughter, nurturing her, giving her like the best love that I could provide for her. And it has been so rewarding for me. I know thinking about it, like prior to Willie and I like getting together and, you know, becoming one and becoming a couple, I never believed that that would have happened anyway.
Right.
So to be a mother and to actually have a child with this man, it's just been truly a blessing. I don't know. I just thank God for it because I couldn't see it any other way. I really couldn't. So I just thank God for that. I thank God for our marriage. I thank Him for our child and our children to come. I'm speaking it into existence. But yeah, so honestly, my role to Ava is simply to nurture her, give her the love, teach her things, which my husband, he does the same thing as well. So there's a lot that goes into the roles and everything. And a lot of mothers out there, you know what I'm talking about. But I'm going to stop rambling now.
You're not rambling. That's good. This is good little nuggets.
Oh, and I'm going to go ahead and let you discuss your specific roles being Ava's father and the feeling the first time being her father.
Okay, so number one, I couldn't imagine, being parents with the child with anyone else other than my wife Desiree. It's just been an amazing experience. I trust her completely, 1,000% with her. So, but as far as being a father, that moment when I became a father, when she actually came out, and I held her for the first time, she is just precious bundle, and I think you felt the same way, right?
Oh, of course, yeah. It's
life-changing. Yeah, it changes you. I always heard about it changing you when you hold them for the first time, but yeah, definitely made me feel some different type of way. So as far as being a father, I counted up as a few P's. One, being a protector. I find myself being very protective of Ava.
Mm-hmm.
I guess because of just, childhood experiences and just, the protection. It just seems like it's the role. It's to be a protector as a father.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I feel like as a father, I should be the one that prays, provides, is the priest of the household. Just a few P's that I kind of put in role as a father, the way I view fatherhood. Protect, pray for, be the priest, provide. I feel like it is the father's job to provide. But I do understand we're in a different time. But I guess that's more of a traditional side of me. But, being a father is very rewarding for me. Very rewarding. Yeah, I don't know what else to really say about it, honestly.
Yeah, well, you're a beautiful father to her, so she's really blessed to have you.
She's blessed to have her. She has a beautiful mother, two wonderful mothers, so she gets all of her nuggets from her.
Oh, she gets it from you too, babe.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, so yes, as my husband said, it truly has been a blessing and it's rewarding to the both of us. And I don't know, I couldn't see it any other way. I would say that, of course, you face some challenges in parenthood. We don't have all of the answers. And we do want to make a little bit of a disclaimer that we haven't mastered everything at all. Every day we are learning new things as far as raising her, understanding on how to raise her properly and making sure that we're doing whatever is best for her because we want her to have the best life that she can have. And honestly, I didn't understand or really know how imperative it is as far as when it comes down to being a mother to her or being a parent to her, because you really honestly are responsible, for her life.
Yeah, it's not just us anymore.
Yeah.
we have someone that we're responsible for. And
Absolutely.
I mean, I think that's a great feeling too, but it just puts things in proper perspective, you know. It's one thing to be married and to be with each other, but then to actually have a child come, it's like, wow, we're responsible for another human life here.
Yeah.
We're responsible for developing this child into who she's going to be, who she's going to become, and how we are around each other is going to affect the child. So
Absolutely.
we have to think about stuff like that. Like, we can't be fussing and arguing, and she can't be exposed to any of that stuff because, you know, that's what she's going to remember, and that's what she's going to grow up and understand to be logic. So you just have to be careful. All parents out there, watch what you teach your kids with your life.
Yes. Yeah, because they are watching, because they're like sponges. They literally absorb and soak up whatever energy that you're putting out. So that's why you have to truly make sure that you're doing the proper things, you know, in front of your children. So it can be challenging at times, especially if you're not truly like seeing maybe what your actions are portraying. You got to just be careful. Like my husband said, like when it comes down to like if we have a disagreement or argument, you got to make sure that you're not like, you know, raising your voice or doing anything that's despicable or anything that might rub off on her or any negative energy that she might possibly absorb. So that's one thing that we do for sure.
Because I think kids, they pick up on emotions and energy. I think they know what's up. Like you know, I think they pick up on that stuff, and you just have to be careful what, you know, you're putting out there into the universe, into your children.
Yeah.
You know, create a positive environment.
Yeah.
A life-filled environment so they can come out that way.
Absolutely.
You know.
Because we're her teachers, so we want to make sure we're teaching her the right things. Absolutely.
So, I want to talk about the pros and cons in maintaining a healthy marriage while parenting effectively. So, maintaining a healthy marriage while parenting. I do know that parenting, especially when you have children early in your marriage, like we did, parenting can take a lot of your time, a lot of your energy, a lot of your thought process. But I do think it is also imperative.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
To maintain your marriage too, you two have to stay united as a united front. You two have to maintain that marriage, make sure that that's strong, so that she can see that. So when she gets older, she won't settle for anything less than what she's learned. And a lot of times, children, when we grow up, we don't settle for anything less than what we've learned in our lives. And who better to give you that example than your parents, who's right in front of you? Now, if children learn a low standard of it, then that's their standard. If they learn a high standard, that's their standard. So you create the baseline for your children as to what they see as a healthy relationship and unhealthy relationship.
Yep.
And unfortunately, a lot of parents don't look at that or think about that. So when there's an unhealthy relationship that's displayed, that's what they're going to see as normal. So then they find themselves in that same predicament every time they get in a relationship. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really great. So I would say, like Willie had discussed, we actually did become parents early on, and it was planned, so we knew what we were getting ourselves into.
Yeah.
It was absolutely planned, and we wouldn't change it for the world, I tell you. We would not at all. But we will say that you have to make sure that you have strength within your marriage. Because if you don't have that strength between the two of you, I wouldn't say that the child comes in between, because, I mean, you should never look at it that way, because every child is a blessing.
Right.
But your child needs you. So with that being said, you do have to spend a lot of time with your child. I mean, it's just essential. It's what is asked of us, you know, from God, and this is our roles, you know, as mother and father. But also too, as my husband discussed, you have to make sure that you're not neglecting your spouse as well. So you have to find time, even if that, absolutely, even if it feels, even if it's like late at night or early in the morning,
when the baby falls asleep.
Yes, you just gotta find time. And I know a lot of people, they'll make excuses and say, well, I don't have time to do this, I don't have time to do that. But trust me, if something means something to you, and if it truly, truly matters, your spouse truly matters to you, then you're going to make that time for that person. So
I think the reason why we're so good at that is because, like we said before in our story, vlog that, you know, back when it was just dating, we didn't have time. Like, you were working, she was working 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. I was going to work at 4, and then I left that job, went to another job around 11, and then I worked all the way till 7 a.m. when she had to go to work. Yeah. So we didn't have no time. But we made time together. We text, we talk. Anytime that we didn't care if it was 2 minutes or 30 seconds. We made sure that we kept the communication open. So I just think that it's just really an excuse when it comes to time spent with anyone. If you care and they're in your heart, you'll make the time. No excuses. I don't care what it is.
Absolutely.
You know, Jonathan McReynolds said it in a song called Make Room. I will make room for you. You know, make room for what you love. And really what's dear to your heart. Scripture lets you know what's dear to your heart is your treasure. So you'll make time for what's in your heart.
Yeah, time is of the essence.
Desiree's in my heart. Yeah. I'm in her heart.
So we make time.
We make time.
Absolutely. And it's beautiful, too, in those moments when we make that time together. So every little bit helps. Every little bit helps. Even if, like, if you're having, like, you know, little dates and stuff like that. I know, for one thing, my parents, they've been really helpful. So we're able to, like, you know, get away sometimes. And just, you know, even if it's just in our own home or whatever. Like, for example, our anniversary, we didn't go out to, like, an extravagant restaurant. Of course, we have, you know, COVID-19 going on anyway. We stayed right at home. Mom and Dad, they stayed in the living room and they took care of her. Yeah, and it was still beautiful because it was just he and I. And I felt very comfortable because, you know, Ava was with my parents or whatever. So, I mean, it works. Right. You have a support system, it can happen. It works for you, so...
Yeah, one thing I used to tell Desiree all the time, and she adopts the whole phrase, but really, it doesn't matter what we do, where we're at, as long as we're together.
Yes.
And as long as we're together, that's everything we need. It is a beautiful day, as long as we're together.
Absolutely.
So, I'm straight as long as we're together. I don't care what we do or we don't do. We can sit here, stare at each other, and smile. It doesn't matter. I'm cool. Yeah. I'm content.
Don't need anything extravagant.
Yes, I'm with my boo thing, so, you know.
Yeah, that is true, though. Time. Just making time.
Right. Yep. So what do you think are some of the perks of being a parent to Ava? Perks.
I love the challenges. Honestly, I do, because...
It's a perk.
Yeah, it's a perk, and the reason why I say that is because it makes me a better person. You know? Yeah. Same thing even with marriage. Like, some things that we didn't even know about each other, but... It was kind of magnified when you're with somebody else. So. Well,
I will say we both didn't realize. We both felt like we were very selfless in some parts, but we found out very quick that, man, we really can be a little selfish sometimes with what we, you know, towards one another, because we really love each other, we really want each other. So it's kind of like it's just finding that balance. You know, you learn a lot of things about yourself when in any relationship. I don't care if it's parents, I don't care if it's family, I don't care if it's romantic. Especially romantic, especially when you're living with the person like we are right now. You learn a lot. And I think it is true. You don't know nothing until you move in with your spouse.
Yeah, you know, so because you're used to being by yourself. I mean, we were single for some time prior to us being, you know, one. So you got to learn how to incorporate the other person and, you know, care about their feelings and, you know, what their ambitions and their goals are, whatever their interests are. You have to take interest in what they're interested in.
And support them.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that's another thing too. We need to make sure we support our spouses and whatever dreams or whatever. You know, don't laugh at. I mean, because I know there are some people out there that probably laugh when their spouse says something that they think is funny or crazy or whatever. That's not our experience, but we definitely know about that. And, you know, you just got to make sure you support your spouse and whatever it is, their dreams and their goals, because whatever their dreams or goals is, it's close to their heart. And you don't want to offend your spouse. Yeah. So if it's close to their heart, it should be close to yours.
Yes, it should be yours.
Especially say you love them.
Yeah, you're one. So you have to take on whatever it is that they're taking on and do it in a loving way, in an unconditional way, and be supportive like you said. So, absolutely.
So what do you think are some of the challenges and obstacles of parenting while being YouTubers?
Well,
we can start with right before this video.
Well, yeah. Ava, she was a little bit restless. It was time for her to nap. As you can see, she's resting now.
She let us know. Like, I didn't know, like, what was going on with her. Like, she would, at first she want to be up, she want to be down, she want to be carried, she want to be picked up, she want to be put down. Like, what do you want? And
she was just
and then finally she just started rubbing her eyes. Said, oh, okay, I know what she want. And as soon as I picked her up,
she fell
a few
right
seconds
to sleep.
later, she's
just like that. Yeah.
That's what you want.
Yeah. So that's the challenge, is kind of working around her schedule of sleeping.
Sleeping, being up, her
absolutely.
moods. Yes, that, that's our obstacles,
yeah.
as far as being parents and YouTube.
And that's patience, too, in and of itself. So
we'd love for her to be up while we YouTube, and we want her to be a part of it.
And she has been.
She's baby Ava Michelle. She's the Bullock clan. She's here, So, yeah, I mean, but, I just think it's beautiful. Honestly, just to have that challenge or obstacle, we learn. Mm-hmm. We learn.
It just makes us better, if anything. And I think you've seen the other video we were talking about how well we know our spouse. She was kind of getting a little frantic in there, so that just gives you like a little taste of the different things that we may have to deal with when we are YouTubing and we are filming. But I wouldn't say that it has been like, oh my gosh, like it's so exhausting, I wish I didn't have to do it. This is a part of parenting. We knew exactly what we were getting into prior to getting pregnant, so it's really not the end of the world. Yeah. It's life, and you have to embrace it. You have your highs, your lows, but at the end of the day, it's all well worth it, because we have this little one. She's growing, she's healthy, and she's progressing beautifully, so we wouldn't take that back at all.
I think it's wonderful to have someone that you trust. I really put my hats out to single parents. It's not easy doing it with two parents, so I can only imagine what that's like. So hats out to you. Yeah. But we're just blessed to have one another and to be on one accord with it.
Absolutely.
I have you, you have me.
Thank God.
Yes.
And that works. All right, so now we would like to shout out actually one of our faithful subscribers.
Yes. It's
Sister Davis. And she asked a question on one of our videos. She said, hello, Bullock family. I have a question. When having a disagreement, how fast do you both resolve it? And what tips can you give to help others? May God continually bless and keep your beautiful family. And I look forward to hearing from you both. So we did... Yeah, it's a really great question. I'm thankful that she did comment. That's why we try to encourage you guys to comment like any questions or concerns, or even if you want to actually help and give tips, just share the wealth amongst yourselves and just, help, whether it be relationships, marriage, whatever it may be. But going back to her question, when it comes down to a disagreement, we kind of touched on it in the other video, in our Q&A, we don't let it...
try to fester
for
too long. You gotta look at the bigger picture, The truth of the matter is, I love Desiree, she loves me, and whatever disagreements or whatever, we've been through enough in 3 years.
Oh yeah,
to really not let petty stuff to really kind of mess with us like that. But I will say, if you're talking about how quickly are we to resolve it, I can tell you what we won't do. We won't let it go until the next day.
No,
Don't
go to sleep like that.
Because anything...
That's dangerous.
And I mean, it's cool to have check-ins too. Just check and say, hey, are we good? Have I offended you in some way? Have I not acknowledged something? Whatever. It's just important to do, because sometimes we might offend one another and not even realize it. Yeah. So, and feel like, because in our mind, a lot of times, because the word says lean not to your own understanding. Sometimes we lean to our own understanding. In our mind, they shouldn't feel no type of way about it. But in their mind, they're completely justified in how they feel. It's about thinking about the other person and whatever they may be feeling that you don't know about. Yeah. A lot of times we don't know that we're disobeying God in some ways or omitting a sin, but we have to just check in and say, hey, check ourselves, and then check in with the other person that might be offended.
Absolutely.
So I just think it's important to talk to your spouse. Say, hey, I just want to be sure. Are we good? Is there anything I've done that I haven't apologized for? Is there anything that I've said that might have hurt you that I haven't acknowledged? Please bring it to my mind, because to me, I'm not sure. There's nothing that comes to my mind that I think that I've done, but please let me know. Yeah. And then it's up to that other person to really tell. And as that other person, you got to be open up and communicate enough to trust your spouse enough with the answer.
Absolutely.
If they love you and you love them, you guys should be able to say whatever to each other in respectful, calm, nice way.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, you should feel open enough to be able to communicate with your spouse. That's definitely something that you have to work on is communication.
Got to work on it.
And you have to do it in an effective manner, like you said, in a respectful way. You don't want to come off like,
insensitive.
Yeah, like you don't care, like their feelings don't matter. Because just because it doesn't mean that it's offensive to you or it's not offensive to you, doesn't mean it's not offensive to your spouse. Because at the end of the day, we are individuals and things affect us differently.
Right.
And honestly, you should feel comfortable enough. I know I feel comfortable enough to come to Willie to tell him, like, this is how I'm feeling. And I mean,
because a lot of times, I'll be real, I don't think that some things are that big of a deal, but it doesn't matter how I feel about it. It's about how she feels about it. And so I got to get out of my feelings and my way of thinking and say, hey, if it's affecting her that way, okay, then I'm going to have to try to see it through her lens, try to understand her, and just ask and try to find some common ground where she can get to a better place. It's ultimately, that's all I want. I want her to be happy. I don't want her to be stressed. I don't want her to be feeling some type of way, especially if it's something I've done.
Yeah.
It's something someone else done that we can deal with that together. But if it's something I've done, we can still deal with that together. But especially if I'm the offender, I like to know and I like to make sure that I'm doing everything in my power to make it right.
Yeah, it should be resolved. So the tips that I would say that we would have, of course, and this is what we're kind of talking about, but just to put the emphasis on it, is communication. Communication in your relationship is key. And I mean non-verbal, verbal communication, making sure that you're communicating effectively, that no one's being disrespected in any manner at all. You should never be yelling at the other person or have any type of physical altercation going on. If you truly love that person, then none of that should be a part of that at all.
It shouldn't be a thought.
Yes, it shouldn't be at all because you love that person. So why would you do that? You understand what I'm saying? It's just not something that's really needed. It's not something that's necessary. But yeah, communication is one of them, and also too, argumenting effectively. And you're probably argumenting effectively. Being argumentative is a negative thing. But we're looking at it in a different way. Being able to get your point across, like we said, in a respectful manner.
In a respectful manner. And pretty much, in order to argue effectively, you have to make sure that you're focused on the big picture. There's a problem.
Yeah.
There's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay? And no matter if someone you think in your mind is the cause of the problem, it doesn't matter. There is a problem. You are the two players, and you both need to find a solution so the problem can be dealt with. So you don't take it out on one another just because you're in your feelings. Get out of your feelings.
Absolutely.
Be mature. Be an adult. Be grown. And realize that it is a problem that you both have to deal with. Both.
Because you're a team.
You're a team.
You're a team.
Not opponents.
Yeah.
See, we connected like that. Not opponents. And they don't ting, 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 boom, boom, boom. There's none of that.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all the same team. If she's in the blue corner, I'm in the blue corner. All right? We're the blue corner. The red corner is the problem. We are a team going for that problem. And you just have to look at it visually that way.
Yes.
Yeah, so
that's effective arguing right there. And in communication and effective arguing, you have to make sure that you're incorporating compassion, and love. And God, we know that He is love within that. So one thing that I know for sure, in order for your marriage to work, in order for your marriage to last, in order for it to go up against anything in this world, you have to make sure that God is in the center of your marriage.
Right.
If He is not in the center, I'm going to tell you now, it is not going to work.
It's not even going to, it's going to be tough, too.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
Well, I agree with you that it's not going to work. I could say this, anyone that's made it definitely acknowledge God at some point in their marriage in no type of way that they want the whole marriage and not acknowledge God and not ask God for help. Because sometimes when you're going through in your marriage, you have to seek that higher power. You have to, because you need guidance, you need wisdom, you need knowledge, and that's where you get it from. Lord, don't let me do this. Lord, don't let me feel this way. Lord, lead and guide me, because I'm about to lose my stuff, whatever it is. Because only you know you, and God knows you better. So, you just got to be humble enough to come to that point.
Yeah.
You come to God, you got everything you need.
That's right. So just make sure that and we want to thank you again.
Yeah, so, and also, too, respect.
Respect, yes. R-E-S-P-C-T.
Yeah, R-E-S-P-C-T.
Respect, yes. Respect. And
Right.
we kind of talked about that, like, when you're communicating effectively and effectively arguing or, communicating with your spouse or whatnot, you just want to make sure that you're coming in a respectful manner. Because I know for me, it's not so much necessarily what a person is saying to me, is how you're saying it. The attitude that you're coming with.
It's the tonality.
Your tone, yeah.
It's the spirit behind
that,
it.
Yeah.
It's, and also too, coming, if you're going to come at somebody in your flesh, number one, because you got to have the spirit in order for it to be that way anyway. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to come to somebody in your flesh, they're going to feel flesh. It's simple as that.
Yeah. And they're not going to receive that.
Flesh getting rose up and another flesh getting rose up, that's a lot of fire. So you don't want to get burnt. Yeah. So you just got to have respect. And I think that your compassion and your love yields the respect for the other person. And that's all those things together is what helps you to argue effectively. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with arguing. Sometimes it's healthy. Mm-hmm. But unhealthy arguing is ineffective arguing. That's toxic.
Well, we do hope that we were able to share some things that you're going to be able to apply to your life, apply to your relationships, apply to your marriages. Because we really want to promote healthy marriages here on our channel. And healthy relationships, family-oriented, all of those things. And I hope that really came across. I hope that you'll be able to take those things and actually hide it in your heart and actually practice it within your own lifestyle. So if you have any questions or concerns about anything, or if you want to just share any tips or any advice that you might want to give to the community here on YouTube, please do. Feel free to do so, because in the end, we are helpers of one another, and we want to just be helpful to whomever needs help out there. It's definitely needed. So
it is. Yeah, we need each other.
Absolutely, we do.
I need you. You need me.
We're all
a part of God's body. Stand with me. Agree with me. We're all a part of God's body. It is His will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to survive. You are important to me. I need you to survive.
Amen.
I don't know, that was just spontaneous.
Yeah.
Yes.
So please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. Make sure you click the notification bell. That way that you're updated on any videos that we may drop on our channel. And I hope this was a blessing to you all.
It was a blessing to us. Just to be able to share it, and yes. So, any comments? Please leave them below. As far as the questions that we were talking about, please do comment on YouTube so we can physically see it.
Yes. Please
do comment there. Because some people send me messages and that's cool, but just go ahead and comment down below so we can kind of keep it centered. Okay?
Yeah, and it helps things, some type of organization going on, and we can kind of go back to it and reflect on it and expound on it if need be.
That's right.
So, yeah.
All right. And like this video, if you like this video, share it with a friend, a buddy, a pal, a cousin, an auntie, a grandma, an uncle, or auntie. I don't know. I think I said that twice.
Yeah, just share the wealth. Share it. It won't hurt you at all to do so. You can share this on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever. Yeah. All right. And, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Join the Bullock clan. And we'll see you in the very next vlog. Yeah, welcome. Welcome to our family.
Love you. Love you. All right.
Bye-bye.